Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host Kelly Pally, and today we're counting down the most powerful characters in Harry Potter. And by powerful, we're not just talking about who would be the strongest in a duel. As you know, there are many witches and wizards capable of many different types of magic. Some excel in transfiguration, some excel in potions or the dark arts, but sometimes they lack in other areas. So this is no easy feat, but we've tried our best to compile who we think is the most powerful in the wizarding world. And heads up, we're talking about characters' abilities throughout the duration of the 7 books, which does not include the Cursed Child. Alright, let's jump right in. And at 10 we've got Harry Potter. Okay, so before y'all protest, hear me out. Arguably Harry is incredibly talented in many ways. He's a bit of an expert at defense against dark arts, he's one hell of a seeker, he has the ability to get out of a lot of sticky situations, but a lot of his luck comes from having an amazing support system. He's guided by Dumbledore, has friends who defend and protect him and collaborate with him all the time, and he's protected by his mother's love from the ultimate unforgivable curse. So yeah, he's pretty powerful, but he does have a lot of help from his friends, which is why he only makes number 10. Up next, number 9, we've got Mad-Eye Moody. Alastor Moody has lost so many damn body parts over the years, but he's still kept kicking. This includes an eye, a leg, and part of his nose. Now he does have a magical eye that allows him to see through objects and through the back of his head. He fought in the First and Second Wizarding Wars, managing to detain many Death Eaters, almost half the cells in Azkaban to be exact, and comes from a pureblood family known for producing a long line of renowned Aurors. Incredibly versatile in many magical disciplines, he was notably one of the best Aurors to serve the Ministry of Magic, but unfortunately died from a killing curse Voldemort fired off during the Battle of the Seven Potters. And at 8 we've got Sirius Black. Sirius Black is such a bad an animagus, an expert in transfiguration, he's super intelligent, he's endured Dementors for years, is an expert of nonverbal magic, and a superior dueler. Sirius Black was framed for the murders of the Potters during the First Wizarding War, which is why he ended up in Azkaban, but then he broke out, a feat that no one has ever done. Even the Death Eaters had help breaking out from the Dementors during the Second Wizarding War. And he also hangs out with Buckbeak, who he tamed and then took care of at 12 Grimmauld Place. Sirius has been known to include physical combat with his dueling style, and he's capable of fighting off Lupin when he's in his werewolf form. And honestly, if he didn't fall through the veil, there's a very good chance he could have defeated Bellatrix in their duel in the Battle of the Department of Mysteries. That is, if you consider his death in the book canon rather than what happens in the films. Up next at 7 is Bellatrix Lestrange. A diehard Voldemort supporter, Bellatrix Lestrange is absolutely deadly, and has no issue with knocking people off. Seriously, she kills a fox for no damn reason at the start of the 6th book, aside from the fact that it just kinda made her jump. Don't wanna get on her bad side. Regardless, she's responsible for numerous murders, including our beloved Sirius Black, and tortured multiple wizards, including Neville's parents and Hermione. Devotion is a deadly thing. Being a part of the noble house of Black, Bellatrix has defeated many an Auror in duels, and is an expert in nonverbal magic. She also taught Draco Malfoy the unforgivable curses, occlumency, and several nonverbal spells before starting his 6th year at Hogwarts. And at 6 is Molly Weasley. Molly Weasley is an incredibly strong witch, despite being a tad underrated. First off, considering how much crap her family endures through the Second Wizarding War, Molly keeps a level head and is always taking care of the rest of the Order. She loses one son, another is brutally maimed, and her husband is almost killed by Nagini. Aside from being an impeccable support system, she whoops Bellatrix's butt in the Battle of Hogwarts, something that no ordinary witch or wizard would be capable of. There's a reason why Fred and George fear her motherly wrath. And at 5 we've got Minerva McGonagall. Another animagus, McGonagall is a master at transfiguration, surviving both Wizarding Wars as a member of the Order of the Phoenix. She also kicked major butt in the Battle of Hogwarts, leading the charge. Gives me chills every time. She's also incredibly proficient in charms and the dark arts, using the Imperious Curse on one of the Carrows, and has shown that she's capable of producing Patronus non-verbally. She goes on later to be the headmaster of Hogwarts, a well-deserved position. And at 4 we've got Severus Snape. Oh, sweet darling Snivellus. Whether you think he's a villain or just a tragic hero, it's hard to deny that Severus Snape is one of the most powerful wizards out there. Aside from being an outstanding student during his time attending Hogwarts, the Half-Blood Prince knew more hexes and curses as a first-year student than most 7th-year students did. His improvements to his advanced potion-making textbook also proved his impeccable knowledge of the art. He's skilled at legomancy and occlumency, which came in handy when acting as a double agent, hiding information from Voldemort, and his specialty spell is the deadly Sectum Sempera. McGonagall also implies that Snape has the ability to fly without a broom, which is a skill only Voldemort has been known to have. Up next at number 3 is Grindelwald. Grindelwald is the OG Dark Wizard. He led an army that terrorized much of Europe in the Global Wizarding War for years when attempting to overthrow the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy. A Durmstrang student, Grindelwald was driven to find the Deathly Hallows when he and Dumbledore were besties. He eventually eventually got his hands on the Elder Wand, which he then lost when Dumbledore defeated him in a duel that lasted 3 hours long. He was also an intellectual genius, with Albus Dumbledore being his only equal, and the two would spend days upon days having intellectually stimulating conversations with one another. He was expelled from Durmstrang for experimenting with the dark arts, and was an expert in non-verbal magic and wandless magic. And his death? Voldemort killed him in an attempt to get the Elder Wand, but that didn't stop a very old and imprisoned Grindelwald from mocking him in his last moments. Kids these days, what do they know about evil? And at number 2, we've got Voldemort, aka Tom Riddle. While Grindelwald's shoes are certainly tough to fill, Tom Riddle did one hell of a job at proving that he was the most powerful dark wizard to ever live. Similar to our number 1 spot, he was a child prodigy, a half-blood wizard ironically, who started a war in the wizarding world. A descendant of Salazar Slytherin, Tom Riddle has the ability to speak Parseltongue. He's the self-proclaimed best occlumens that has ever lived, and created his first Horcrux when he was 16. Meaning he committed murder when he was 16, although he did kill his father the summer before returning to his last year at Hogwarts. It's kinda dark. He traveled the world gaining a wealth of knowledge, then came back on the scene recruiting wizards and witches to join his army to take over the wizarding world. Responsible for both the First and Second Wizarding War, Voldy was stopped by the one thing he didn't understand: love. Courtesy of Harry Potter. And finally, at number 1, we have Albus Dumbledore. Dumbledore is arguably the greatest wizard to have ever lived. He's primarily self-taught, although won every single major award during his time at Hogwarts. He's an expert at nonverbal spells, has multiple papers published on charms, is skilled in occlumency and legilimency, he can turn himself invisible with a powerful charm he can use, is credited for discovering the 12 uses of dragon blood, and can create complex objects out of thin air. He also won the Elder Wand when defeating Grindelwald in a duel. He's the only wizard aside from Harry that Voldemort ever feared, and during their battle at the Ministry of Magic, he manages to fend off Riddle while protecting Harry, which is very hard to do. He's probably had the most influential impact on the wizarding world, contributing a wealth of knowledge. Plus, if you really consider it, is the only way Harry managed to defeat Voldemort. Without his guidance, Harry would not have known about the Horcruxes or the Deathly Hallows, which means he played an active role in defeating the 2 biggest threats the wizarding world has ever faced, or at least that we know of at this time. Alright guys, there we have it. Are there any witches or wizards that you feel should have made this list? Let us know in those comments below. In the meantime, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons and click that bell notification if you never want to miss another nerdy list. I've been Kelly Pally for Top 10 Nerd, and I will catch you guys in the next one.